pillows.
Okay, I can do even another pillow.
You can hit up the pillow action.
Oh, that helps.
Welcome to In the Studio. This is Tyler Shaffo. I'm sitting here with Bryce Parker and Ruth Chambers.
That's right.
And we're going to be talking about creating new TV today. It's very exciting. There's one new program this summer and one
old program.
but with a new spin, with a new face.
Yes. A new face, yes, right.
Great. And yeah, I want to start with the brand new program that's coming from Bryce. Why don't you give us the brief synopsis? And from what I hear, it's a mystery, so don't reveal any spoilers.
I will not spoil the show for anybody.
No spoilers. But tell us what it's called and what it's about.
All right, so the show is called The Rectangular Age, and it's about two investigative reporters who work at a public access television station, which is very convenient since I work at a public access television station. And so we're investigating, without it giving anything away, we're investigating mysterious causes of death that happen around technology.
So technology is a major theme.
Yes.
And the way we interact with it, and maybe the way we're getting a little too attached to it.
Yeah.
Or are controlled by it.
Oh,
don't spoil anything.
But don't
yeah, no
spoil,
spoilers.
yeah.
No spoilers.
I didn't say a word.
Of course not. Of course not. So, and this show is written by Mr. Bryce Parker.
Yes.
Shot by Mr. Bryce Parker, directed by Mr. Bryce Parker, and
edited.
And who stars in this?
We both star in it.
The two of Mr. Bryce Parker and
Ruth Chambers.
Ms. Ruth Chambers. Wonderful. You all make an interesting pair.
Yeah.
As far as
well, Bryce is so much older than I am, so I do look to him for wisdom and
Bryce has
guidance.
that classic baby face, but he's actually 87 years old.
87.
Yep.
He's been making videos now for over 10 years, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, and that's an actual number, not a
yeah,
not
that's
a
an
fake
actual
made-up
real
one.
one. Yes.
Yeah.
When did you start filmmaking?
Let's see. I actually kind of started before. I didn't have a camera till 7 years ago, but I started attempting to make films at least 4 years before that.
And that's scripts and that sort of thing.
Screenwriting and I was in elementary school at that point, and I would just gather a bunch of people at my school and we'd try to do something. We never did anything, but my first film I did in 2007, and I did a storyboard for that film.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, after that I never did a storyboard again. It's kind of funny.
What was it about?
It was about this cat that it falls asleep and it has a dream.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's a dream about kibbles and bit?
Yeah, actually I did the titles with cat kibbles for that movie.
It's very creative.
Yeah.
So this has always been a passion for you?
Yeah, throughout my entire life I've always been making films.
That's amazing. And you have a very interesting let's say process or filmmaking philosophy. Tell us a little bit about the films that you've made and how you go about doing it.
Okay, so how I make films is I decide how can I make the film and actually make it. Mm-hmm. So usually what that involves is stripping away things until I have something I can do. So I usually, this is an exception, I never have actors before.
So there's like a minimalist sort of, but I think I talked over that last sentence. You've never had actors before?
Well, I've had, for the past two years, I'd say, I've been moving very far away from actors. I used to work with actors, but I never finished anything because up until this point, when I asked somebody to be in a film, they'd say yes, never show up, and I'd never finish anything.
Yeah,
but so I just started making films by myself, being the actor, doing everything by myself.
So I want people to be able to envision how exactly this works. You set up a camera
Yep.
on a tripod.
Yeah.
You're behind the camera.
Yeah.
You have an idea of what the image is going to be.
Yeah.
What do you hit record and then run in front of the camera?
Yeah. Sometimes I'm actually holding the camera, trying to get a good angle. Sometimes I'm pushing a dolly and then running in front of it.
Wow. So you're actually able to accomplish a complicated camera movement,
Yeah.
as a dolly shot is. I mean, I hope people understand a dolly shot. That would be, it's on wheels, and
Yeah.
it's tracking along a straight line next to you, and you're able to accomplish that and act at the same time.
Yeah, it is. It is a very difficult process. It took, to get to the point of being able to figure out how to do a dolly and even think about doing that, it took a few years to even get that idea that I could actually do that by myself.
Yeah, a lot of trial and error, I
Yeah.
presume.
And then finally I said, I was at college this year and my film teacher had a dolly, and I said, I'm going to take that for a day. And he was probably curious what I was going to do with it, because I'm only one guy. And I came back and he was wondering how I did all that stuff. I told him I just did it all by myself. And
Do people ever watch your footage and are amazed that it's a cast and crew of one?
yeah, people wonder how, because in the film I did this one shot where I walk away from the dolly and it's moving, but I'm pretty far away from the camera at the point that's actually in the film. And that was one that my film teacher was wondering how I could do that.
And where do you study?
Bard College at Simon's Rock,
Bard College at Simon's Rock, and that's in what state?
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. So you're bi-coastal.
Yeah.
You went a long way from home.
Yeah.
Anyway, wow. So with the rectangular age, you're obviously not continuing the super minimalist
No.
thing that you've been exploring, because you have a co-star.
Yeah.
And it seems like it has more of it's a little bit more narrative
Yeah, it
than
is.
some of the other things.
Definitely much more narrative than what I'm used to doing. There's actually a script for this one. Before, I would just sit there and figure out what I wanted to
No
shoot.
storyboards, though.
No storyboards, no script, no nothing. Just shoot it and then edit it in the way that I wanted to. But in this one, I actually wrote a script, and I don't know how good the script is, but
It's pretty good.
Okay,
I've read
thank
a lot
you.
of scripts.
Thank you, Ruth.
This is a pretty good script.
I'm sure it's excellent. You're also promoting your film right now.
oh yeah.
There's cameras and everything.
Yeah, completely forgot I was supposed to be promoting it.
I was surprised how good the script was. And he's made the characters very clear as to what they're supposed to be and what they're supposed to do. And that's amazing, considering Bryce is so young.
Yeah, they're two individual, unique characters.
Yeah.
That's right.
That are exploring something very mysterious, and there's I'm sure many layers of reveals and things like that.
Oh yeah. Definitely. There's a lot of on-screen tension as well between us.
Oh
'Cause
boy.
We have in
Wow.
the show we have different ideas of what's right and wrong as far as reporting goes.
Yeah.
So she's
hard-
more the anything goes, and
You're the
Aggressive
You're the
news
rogue?
person. Yeah. I've seen people like this in Los Angeles. Very often, this kind of person is usually a stunningly gorgeous person who also goes after a story. I've never been a stunningly gorgeous person, but I've been interesting and I've been fun and all of that. So I have to be even more aggressive because I don't have the stunningly gorgeous going for me as the character. And so she's pretty aggressive, and she goes for things that might be questionable as far as legalities. And I won't go into details,
Sure.
but I can tell that his character is sort of disapproving. And I'm constantly pushing him.
This is the one that's by the book.
yeah.
He's more by the book, and he's also got a sense of ethics.
Right.
Whereas I'm going for the story.
Yeah.
Because I
Story
know at
above
5
all.
o'clock we've got to have a story.
Are these two journalists? They're broadcast journalists.
Yeah.
Print journalists.
Television.
Television, because they work at a public access. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. Really
But
cool.
the characters are so clear. And I'm really enjoying this woman because I like to think she's a great deal different from myself.
It seems like it. It seems like it.
Yes, yeah. Thank you, Bryce. Anyway, it's fun to play her because she's pretty disgusting at times.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, she's pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
But then, of course, she has to be. 5 o'clock's coming up. What have you got?
Sure. Sure.
Yeah, there's two aspects to that, If you're always very nice, what kind of a story is that? Oh, and here's a kitty sitting on a table. Isn't that lovely? But that's not news, is it?
No.
I
No.
mean, where's the blood? Where's the car accident?
People do want conflict, and so they want to see things bump up against each other, and so there's that element between your two characters, and there's that element that journalists are looking for in the world. That's what drives narrative.
Well, you've cleaned that up nicely. In news, they very often say blood leads.
There's that too. There's the shock value of the sort of visceral reaction that we have to violence and sex.
And he knows
basically.
all this.
Right.
And he's so young. That's what makes the script so good.
Pretty cool.
I know, it is pretty cool. Very
much.
observant young man.
Well, you need her as a PR person.
Yeah, I do.
There you go.
Here I am talking about, oh, the script's not very good, and she comes in and says it is.
Well, I think it is.
Yeah.
That's
I was
exactly-
very pleased. I was, frankly, a little surprised because most of his videos before this have been wordless, I would say.
Right. Yeah. It's non-narrative.
Yeah.
Would be a good way to describe it. Is that
Not documentary, but not. There's no plot. It's just exploring character for a bit.
Yeah. It's experimental, and it's
Yeah.
and something that we were talking about beforehand. It's a little bit more pure cinema. It's a little bit
Yeah.
more just about the image.
Yeah, and there is a bit of that in this television show. I start out with a kind of Soviet montage introduction to the show, and then I move into the narrative because I want, you got to have variety in the film.
Right. Right. Yeah. So this introductory montage sort of develops the feeling, the sense, the rhythm, the emotions that you're going to get.
I've always been a fan of rhythmic editing and editing to a piece. When I edit, I stick a piece of music into the timeline, figure out what the music's going to be, then I start editing over that, which gives me there are disadvantages to it because it gives a very rigid time to the movie. You can't go back and edit
That's true,
afterwards,
yeah.
so you have to get it perfect the first time, otherwise you have to throw it all out and start over, because
Yeah.
you have to pick a new piece of music if the time doesn't work. But it gives, because I can edit and I can cut exactly on the beat of the music. And then usually I like pieces of music that start out with a rhythm and then they kind of collapse, because then I start out with a rhythm and then I want to go into longer takes and shots after that.
Okay. So you tend to start a little quicker and then move towards something that's slower, and so you're bringing them into the story with something that's exciting and moving fast.
Yeah.
And then exploring.
Yes.
Really cool. Well, I think we have some stills. Is that?
Yes, we do have
Is
some
that true?
stills. Yes.
If we can maybe take a look at that and see a little bit of this new work that's coming out.
Yeah.
The Rectangular Age
That's it.
is the name of it. Okay, here
So that's my character. Our characters
looks
have-
like a straight-laced fellow.
Yeah, he's got a briefcase and everything. In the film, this is actually a moving shot. It pans across the road and goes in. I had to get somebody else to... Oh, I guess we're moving on to the next one. This is
Okay.
Ruth as her television personality.
Wow. All right. Yeah. And Gosh, that's like what kind of microphone was that?
A Tascam.
Oh, that was, okay, she's talking
Yeah.
right into the task. Okay.
It was a very quiet Tascam. It didn't want to boost up the audio levels, so we had to put it right in. Like in this shot here, I'm blocking out the Tascam from where she is because it's not a television production shot, so this is in the real world.
So there's a lot of working with the kind of equipment that you have.
Yeah.
And just making it work.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of low budget filmmaking is.
Yeah.
So this is right here at DCTV.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It is. That's our server room and everything.
Yep. That's the server room. That was also moving. Oh, and this is my favorite shot in the film that I did.
This is so nice.
It's supposed to. It was inspired by a Renaissance painting. Actually.
Yeah, I can tell that it's composed.
Yeah.
There's a flow to the image.
Yeah,
And
you're
that's
supposed to.
Alex.
Yeah, Alex.
He did the video on the first shot that had him walking down the street. And so now we have his back.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Alex Silva.
Satter.
Silva Satter that works here at DMA.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, you're branching out. You're involving more of the community in your filmmaking efforts. I actually was interested to know more about. You talked about Renaissance techniques in your composition.
Well, if we could go back to that shot number 5, I believe was the name.
Yeah, it was the one with Alex in it. And,
yeah.
You were sitting next to like a pile of books.
Yeah,
there we
this
go.
one.
Okay,
Beautiful.
great.
So
great.
there's this. I took a Renaissance art class this year, and there was this one painting called. I think it was called Saint Silvestri and the Dragon.
Yes,
and
that's
I
quite
remember-
a famous painting.
You see how the books are stacked? There was this building in it that was connecting two people. And so the idea was that there was one guy who was bringing you into the picture, and then you follow this band of a building that's partially collapsed, and then you go up and you see the other character. And so I kind of took that and I changed it to fit this. And so the idea in this shot is my character is bringing you into the shot with the open body posture.
Right.
Then your eyes flow into the guy on the computer, which is a clever bit for the show. The idea is that computers make you more closed off, and so
Yeah.
I've got him closed away from the camera in the background.
Yeah, we mentioned a lot of some of the things that the show will be exploring is people's relationship to their technology.
Yeah. It's kind of a satire on how we have a relationship with computers in modern days.
Wow. Really, really interesting. I'm so excited for the Rectangular Age. So this is going to be on DCTV.
Yes.
The first episode is going to be debuting
The 17th
the 17th next week.
Next week.
at 6:10?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
The 17th is a Wednesday, right?
I
It-
just remembered 17.
Okay, well, it should be...
I think it's not a Wednesday. I think
Okay.
it's
Tuesday?
I think it's a Tuesday.
I think it's a Tuesday.
Yeah.
That could be incorrect then.
That could be incorrect.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
I think it's actually the...
I could run over and get
remember
my book.
I've got the correct... I believe it's Wednesdays at 6, right
Wednesday-
after Democracy Now!
Wednesdays at 6, starting next Wednesday, so that's the 18th.
Yeah.
Tune in on Tuesday at 6 to
For
see
something else.
for something completely different.
Yes.
But Wednesdays at 6, you might see Rectangular Age, which is a 10-minute
Segment.
film. This is the first segment of many that are planned to run
Yeah,
through
they're going to be
this summer.
4 or 5 this summer.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, and get into the mystery and enjoy the awesome filmmaking, which is really cool. Now, this isn't your only project that you're working on this summer, and I wanted to talk about the other project that you and Ruth are both working on.
Yes.
Which is, so this Rectangular Age is something completely new.
Yeah.
Chamber Street Theater is something that's been going for a while but has a new twist.
Yes, and it's the 4th season of Chamber Street Theater.
And Ruth, what's the new take on
Okay.
the classic?
Well, I've been doing a lot of the writers from the 1800s, and particularly Mark Twain, because he's so prolific. There's just so much to choose from. I had written a book about the gold rush, and when I first started 4 years ago, I was reading my book, The Weight of Gold.
Just to bring viewers up to speed, Chamber Street Theater, you read stories.
I read stories, that's right, by other writers primarily, occasionally one of my stories. And then, by chance, with some of the people here and in Davis, I've been starting to write little skits, and I got Bryce involved,
Yes,
because he's such a good sport. And he will be in one of these skits. We're going to be airing it live. We just go for it. We
Wow.
don't tape. Not
Brave.
not this Thursday, but next Thursday at 11 a.m. And then it repeats many times during the week. So just watch the TV schedules for Chamber Street Theater, and the skit between Bryce and I will be on.
So
So he gets to be a character now.
yes.
Wonderful. You all have a symbiotic relationship. You help
Yes,
him with
that's
with Rectangular Age, and Bryce gets to be on Chamber Street
Well, I
Theater.
recognized his talent a long time ago. Anything he wants me to do, I do. I just do it. And I think it's good for him to also branch out into other things as well, because radio is not an image field, it's a sound field. And I think this will help him think of other things, because he's at a very stimulating time in his career and in his artistic development, that should be part of it. And so he's been a good sport, and he's going to come on my radio show, and we're going to read this little skit I wrote. I mostly do comedy. This is about...
I couldn't tell.
You couldn't tell.
I took you as a very serious
dramatic actress,
Dramatic.
Medea, and that sort of thing.
Right.
Yes.
Trojan women.
Trojan women, yes. Let's do the Trojan women again. Hedda Gabler, that's another wonderful one that's
I was just in
quite
Hedda Gabler.
were you?
Yeah.
Very significant. Actually, you know, it was a very significant piece.
I'm well
it's just
aware.
not hysterically funny.
We got a little humor out of it.
Good for you.
We wrung it.
Yeah,
wrung it dry.
well, you have to. You have to.
So Chamber Street Theater is not just on the radio. It's on television.
Sometimes
as
we
well.
do videos.
Yes.
We were involving Alex Silva-Satter. He did a lot of animation and drawings. He's very good at that. He's an excellent artist, and so that's the area where Bryce and I step back and we let Alex do the drawing, and we concentrate on scripts and things that we think are funny. Well, I think are funny. He's more into observations, almost of a mystical nature. He's very good at that, and that's something that we need to pursue with him and encourage.
So visually, is the show changing?
Yes, we're gonna.
Well, this season, in the 4th season.
Originally, it was a live show that we did in the studio.
Right.
Now we're gonna, for some of the shows, we're not gonna do it live, and we're gonna go shoot on location at historical sites.
That's right.
That's really exciting. That adds a whole different visual component.
It does.
Yeah.
And being able to read a story about the gold rush in a place where it
The
actually
gold rush.
happened.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because Old Sacramento is where the gold rush was.
Certainly, yeah.
We didn't have gold here in the ground, but people came by boat through San Francisco Bay, all the way up through the Delta, and got off the boats here in Sacramento because there was a sandbar just north of Sacramento, so they had to get off there. They'd go up into the foothills, get the gold, come back down into Sacramento to get on a boat, and there were 200 saloons, 50 hotels, and 1 bathhouse.
Oh boy.
We were a little stinky in those days, but everyone was, so it was all right. Mark Twain said, "You can't trip in Sacramento without falling in a saloon." So the thing is, people were thirsty after working and getting all that gold. And so
Right.
we're going to go back and explore some of these actual historical sites and do the show there, doing readings and other visuals on site. And I think that's going to be a fun experience.
So it's an educational opportunity for your viewers, and it's also going to be fun because they can tell what a fun-loving personality you have, and
Well,
and a sense
we
of,
try to control that.
a sense of comedy. Yeah, and Bryce, you're contributing as a member of these skits,
Yes.
a writer of the show, and cinematographer of the stuff from the historical sites.
We're
Yeah.
both kind of compulsive workers, so we always have to be doing something, and making videos wasn't taking up all of his time, so then I kind of said, how about joining my radio show? And then he needed some actors, and I'm one of the ones who shows up.
Got to be busy all the time.
All the
Well,
time.
Let's give viewers just one more chance to hear what time the Rectangular Age is on.
Oh, well, let's not tell. Let's put it up as text after we edit the show, because we have no idea at the moment.
Give me filmmaking advice. Okay, great.
Oh, you want some filmmaking advice?
No. I was kidding with you. I'm sorry.
All right. I'm sure you're great at filmmaking.
Well,
If you
Let's
need
just-
actors, here we are.
let's just tell the viewers to check out DCTV and watch for new shows this summer. The Rectangular Age, new season of Chamber Street Theater. You can get us at dctv.davismedia.org. And for now, I think that's all. Thank you so much for talking with me, Bryce Parker and Ruth Chambers. I'm Tyler Shaffo. Until next time, this is In the Studio.
Thank you.